Major moves, we going all in, like we got nothing to lose. We making moves, we making major moves, we making moves, we making major moves, we making moves.
Welcome back to my channel. I want to thank you guys for actively deciding to spend time with me. I'm just a guy in a Spider-Man mask, a cool one I might add. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just providing information and content already on the internet, and I just read it and present it to you guys in a way that may reach you or may not reach you. Whatever the reason is you found my page, I'm grateful you're here, and thank you for spending time with me. Let's get into this. Is take 3 and the best take guarantee. Topic of today's show. I want to show you the connection between the Bank of International Settlements, R3, and Ripple, and who they chose to head this project, Project Aurum, by the Bank of International Settlements. That being said, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mr. Man. Let's jump into this. This here, from the BIS Innovation Hub, remember this name. This is Project Aurum, a prototype for a 2-tier central bank digital currency. And why that's important, Nate Price had posted a couple days ago on Twitter, Ripple likes a 2-tiered system. Why? What tier would XRP be if they want us to have a retail CBDC or e-money? Retail CBDC is also known as an RCBDC. Where we are going to focus today is just down here, the types of CBDCs. But before we go into that, let's jump into who is heading this project. Allow me to introduce you to Benedict Nolens. Benedict Nolens is the head of the regulatory affairs for Asia and Europe, and CCO for Asia and Circle. You know Circle is USDC. A board member of the Hong Kong FinTech Association and a member of the Global Digital Finance Advisory Council. Where else does she come from, I wonder? Who would have figured? World Economic Forum. But why? Why does she have so much information about, like, stable coins, I wonder? Very, very interesting. Ironically enough, Bitcoin former Goldman Sachs exec to join trading firm Circle. Goldman Sachs, recognize that. And she also understands stable coins by working with those guys right there at Circle. Circle, the cryptocurrency exchange operator, has snagged a former Goldman Sachs executive to help navigate the murky regulatory waters as it expands globally, Business Insider has learned. So where are we going to focus now? This is the project. This is what we're focusing on here. The three types of CBDCs they are focusing on in this project. The hybrid CBDC, where the central bank keeps the full ledger and the instrument distributed by the commercial bank is a liability of the central bank. Then there's the intermediate CBDC, where the central bank only keeps the wholesale ledger and the instrument distributed by the commercial bank is a liability of the central bank. And there is the indirect architectures, where the central bank keeps the wholesale ledger, but the instrument issued by the commercial bank is not a liability of the central bank, and instead more akin to the e-money or stablecoin. Remember that? And I just showed you Nate Price's. Now, moving on. Here we are at R3. Just scrolling down a bit. Here we go. What do you see here? The exact same things. Direct CBDC payments are operated by central banks. Intermediate CBDC, hybrid CBDC, and then here they got synthetic CBDC. Now let's just hear what Benedict Nolans has to say about this.
So just maybe to quickly go through this because it's important. People started with this concept of a CBDC that is directly issued by the central bank to you, Jamie, as a retail person. The problem with that is that the central bank would need to do your KYC, right? Which central banks don't traditionally do. They delegate that task to the banking sector and to the BSPs, the SPFs in Hong Kong. They know you, not the central bank. So it's not the task they do. It's not the task they may want to do for that reason. And it's not the task you may want them to do because you may want your privacy to be kept in the private sector, the banking sector and the PSPs, as opposed to at the central bank level. So the direct CBDC is something that was put out there as a concept 2 years ago, but very few jurisdictions are now actually doing that model or choosing that model. So the more preferred model they're going for is a hybrid CBDC or an intermediated. Now, the distinction we at least theoretically make between these two is in the hybrid, it's still the central bank that manages the whole ledger, meaning they can still see Jamie is Jamie, right? Whereas in the case of the intermediated CBDC, which we actually chose for this, the link is there broken. In some, the wholesale system has no information that links this token to Jamie. But the SCB, for example, can obviously see the token through the chain of transactions and knows where the token has gone.
SCB in this case being Standard Chartered Bank,
for example, or it could be HSBC, it could be any commercial bank. Correct.
Beautiful. Is it just me, or did you guys spot that connection too between the Bank of International Settlement, between R3, and between Ripple? We all know now, we should know, I imagine we should know now, I know, and I know it's been out for quite some time now, that Ripple is with Cordo. They're a holy matrimony there. They have a past as well. I don't need to get into that here, but they do have a past. And now you've learned where Project Aurum fits into this as well. It's quite interesting, to say the least. Quite interesting. I do want to read this one thing to you quickly. Bear with me. Right here. In the era of digitization, central banks stand before a choice. Does central retail bank money need to go digital, and if so, how? Jointly embarking on the challenge to design a full stack central bank digital currency, the BIS Innovation Hub, Hong Kong Center, and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, HKMA, dubbed the Project Aurum, the Latin word for gold, reflecting our starting premise that digital currencies issued under the auspice of a central bank must be as robust and trustworthy as gold. If you take a look at my previous videos, I had drawn a correlation between gold and XRP. I could be wrong, I could be right, but I mean, only time will tell at this point. All we can do is stay educated and keep learning. I'll catch you in the next one.
We making major moves. We going all in. Like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves.